Whether we wanted it or not, we've stepped into a meal with the Cabal on Mars. That feels so wrong. Anyway, I was worried that I wasn't going to get to do this recipe when Alice ran away to cry about his fanfiction not coming true. But then his daughter showed up and brought with her a steady supply of loyalists again. So, courtesy of the Pig Princess, some Cabal Loyalist chops with some royal nectar wine sauce. We will have this over top of jeweled rice because it is fancy and excessive. So, ingredients: 1 cup of rice, 1 onion. The onion will be used for a lot of things. So will garlic, just a bunch of cloves of garlic. We are using chicken broth, dried fruits. So we have cranberries, cherries, and white grapes, as well as some sliced almonds. For the Cabal chops, you want some slices of bone-in Cabal meat, as well as a little bit of butter. For the royal nectar sauce, you'll want an assortment of dark berries, red wine, and some stock as well. I will be using beef stock. Start with our onion. We're dicing the entire onion. I'm sure that there is an easier way to dice these, but they didn't teach me how to dice things in hunter school. We didn't have a hunter school at all, actually. Grade 6 was like, here, here's a gun, here's a nice new piece of armor, and go have fun. Call me if you need help.
And I died.
It was a very formative experience. Ooh, okay. It's getting me. It's not the onion, it's just me thinking about Grade 6. Cutting onions always reminds me of Grade 6. Now that the sad, sad memory is diced, we're going to start with roasting the rice. Put some olive oil in there, bring it up to, what are we, medium heat?
Yeah.
Medium heat with a little bit of oil in there. Take your cup of rice, half of those diced onions, and a handful of cloves of garlic, and just put it in there.
Onion smells really good.
It'll be about 5 minutes or so of this. So you gotta make sure to keep it stirring so that nothing burns. It's a little bit fussy, but
How else would you have to cook for Pig Princess?
you can see when it starts to get a little toasty. Some of the rice will look tan or a little brown, and that's when you know that it's good. 1.5 cups of stock. Stir that in and then let it come to a boil. Pour these into the pot, stir it up to mix them together, reduce the heat to low, and put a cover on it. It'll sit in a low simmer for about 15 to 20 minutes, which hopefully is enough time to do the rest of the recipe. I'm going to take a decent sized pan, put it on medium-high heat, cut off a tab of butter. So basically what we're going to do is sear each side of the chop for about 2 minutes or so to get it a little bit browned.
War pigs for nothing.
We don't call them war pigs for nothing. Everyone else is convinced that they're space rhinos. I don't think they've ever seen a rhino before.
You know that.
Rhinoceros? Right.
Rhinoceros?
Is that how you pronounce it? That doesn't sound like there's enough assesses in there.
Rhinoceros.
Rhinoceros. Look at that. Look at that big love handle. That loyalist was well fed before we slaughtered it. We can deal with it tomorrow as long as Bungie doesn't sunset my pork chop leftovers.
Beautiful.
It's angry.
Keep that flavor grease in the pan.
I'm going to cut these little garlics in half so they get more surface area exposure to aromatic stuff that I don't understand. Fancy cooking terms.
Flavor the sauce.
Flavor the sauce. So we've already got plenty of butter in that butter pot.
And pig grease.
Turn the heat in that pan down to a medium. Toss the rest of your onion and garlic in to let it brown. That's going to simmer for 3 minutes or so. Turn up the heat and add in about a cup or so of red wine. You're supposed to cook the alcohol down before you put in the stock and berries. Stir it every now and then to make sure that you're scraping up all the burnt bits from the floor.
That's where the flavor lives. It won't really get thick, but you'll see it reduce. That's why it's called a reduction sauce.
Big Daddy Callus's blubbery plants. And then just mix it all together and let it cook for a little bit longer.
Take a peek at your rice. See how it's doing.
It's fluffy.
You want to turn it off?
Probably. And we're just going to let it cook for a while until the berries start getting tender. Those berries are getting tender.
Yeah.
So we're going to toss in another blob of butter.
Please don't lick it off.
Don't lick what off?
The butter off the glove! Oh.
There was butter on my glove.
Why do you do these things? Why do you almost drink the stock and lick your butter? It's...
Oh, fine. I'll wash it off.
You literally licked it, but the damage is done.
Once your butter is melted and mixed in with the rest of the sauce, you can add your loyalists back into the pan. And pretty much just stir the coat. Where do you think it comes from? Cabal were harmed in the making of this video.
I met a kid once who thought chicken nuggets grew in the package. He was dumb as a rock.
I'm sorry, what? You just let it sit there for a little bit to let the juice soak into the meat. Fluff up the rice. Now that we're ready to go, all of the garnishes are now plumped up. Add in our almonds.
Fashion packet.
No. What kind of packaging is this?
One of those fashion packets, built to last.
Big scoop or two. Wash and mix in some parsley if you're feeling extra. What's the Epicurean? Is that the word? Bring in the meat. Drop a lot of that. The difference between these guys and the rest of the Cabal, the Loyalists are quite opulent, and so today we're going to eat the rich. And this time, it's not New Monarchy. So we're going to make this stupidly fancy and give it some gilding. I'm going to gild the bones to make it look even fancier than it needs to be. Add in the rest of the sauce. Cabal royalty are nothing if not excessive. They have a folk tale. One of them set out to capture the sun, and he did. And then he became an emperor. We don't do subtlety. We're going to lavish in excess with our purple sparkles, just as Callus would have liked. Behold.
Wow.
The Royal Cabal chop. Okay. I gotta eat first? Okay. I've got a big blob of fat. I got fat, but not from strength.
All that in my mouth? Wow. Mmm.
So when Kyle shows up and tells our war dad to bow, I propose a counteroffer. I can make you dinner. But yeah, there you have it. Cabal Loyalist chops with their royal nectar sauce. Until we eat again, Guardians.